So, I can has cheeseburger.
Okay. Maybe let's do another take. Business person. Welcome to Number Goes Up, the business news podcast hosted by two men who kind of know what they're talking about. My name is Kingsley Nlewedim. I'm joined by my co-host,
W. Tanner Kirk.
Today we're going to talk about the very professional topic that is meme coins.
Meme coins.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, not to be all late night tacos, but meme coins is in the news, folks.
It do be in the news.
Yeah. They're supported by, people as young as 13 and as old as 1 million, aka the President of the United States. What do you know about meme coins?
No, so completely honestly, I know that meme coins are like Bitcoins. So they're a form of virtual currency, right? And then they're named after funny memes like Doge, RIP.
Yeah.
Or of course, I've heard of the Haktua coin. And I understand the general concept that, like Bitcoin, you can invest in them online on this thing called the blockchain, which is like a virtual ledger, as far as I understand it. And then people like to convince other people that it's a really good idea to invest in them very quickly. And then if you pull your money out of it at the right time, you can make a lot of money. That's my honest general understanding of what a meme coin is.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're pretty correct. So I guess to go into a little bit of background, in 2009, the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, was created. And the purpose of it was to enable people to engage in transactions without like any intermediaries like the banking system or anything. So you can, if you're unable to use a bank for whatever reason, you can transfer amounts of this currency from person to person. And the transactions exist on what's called the blockchain, which you mentioned, which is like a list of all transactions that have occurred that no one can edit. So it's all within this network of computers, and every single person can look at every transaction that's gone on.
Right.
So that reduces the ability for people to like hide the way that money is moved on the network.
I guess too, if another benefit could be if you just don't want to put your money in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. For whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, from my understanding, a lot of the people do use Bitcoin to perform transactions. A surprising amount of them are criminal, but not all of them. I think you used to be able to buy Domino's pizza with the Bitcoin.
I do remember that being a thing.
Yeah, or there are plenty of people in jails right now who used Bitcoin in their exchanges.
We also we met a guy through like a work socializing event that gets paid in Bitcoin, and then
Is it Bitcoin or
Ethereum?
Yeah, one of the
cryptocurrencies, but he gets paid in this cryptocurrency, and he was explaining to us, and then obviously he cashes it out into his currency of choice. But I think a lot of people too use the cryptocurrency to cash it back out into governmental currency and use it that way. Yeah.
So there are, because people do use it as a currency, there is a sense of legitimacy to Bitcoin exchanges.
Especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
I think Ethereum's the other big one.
Those are the major ones. Now, meme coins are a variation of that started with Dogecoin in 2013, created by Billy Marcus, based on a photo of a beautiful dog named Kabosu.
R.I.P. Cabo-chan.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that sign of the cross. Don't cut to me during that. And so their image was used to create this coin, the first meme coin, which was created as a joke of like, they noticed that people were doing these transactions, and if you think about it and you kind of remove the mystique of like, oh, this is like a new internet technology, I got to get on. It does seem, at least to me, a little bit silly. And they thought so too. They made this joke coin,
Right.
and they were putting money into the coin and seeing the value of the coin go up. And now, Dogecoin in particular is worth quite a bit of money.
Right.
Like if you had bought Dogecoin when it came out, at like you put in, I'm going to do some back of this napkin math. You put in $100, maybe you have $100,000 now.
Right.
Which is dumb.
Right.
But that's the allure of the meme coin, is that you put in a small amount of money and then you put it in the computer, something happens, and then you can pull out a lot more money.
Yeah, a not insignificant amount of people have become very rich off of meme coins.
Yeah.
Or at least made a sizable amount of money
off
of buying and selling meme coins. And I think, Elon Musk, right? Really put Dogecoin on the map.
Yeah. I think he was a big proponent of it. He was like, oh, I'm investing my money in this. He has the ability to move markets. And then he gave it even further legitimacy by naming a department of the government after it somehow.
Yeah, I remember weeks after that was announced, I didn't put together that the Department of Government Efficiency stands for Doge.
Yeah, it's truly embarrassing.
Yeah, but seriously though, at this point, it is really silly. It is a meme in and of itself, but it has an extremely important place in the zeitgeist right now.
Right.
I feel like meme coins are not going away at this point. They've had a huge impact on society as a whole.
Yeah, governmental agencies are getting into them. In Argentina, the president of Argentina was a huge proponent of a meme coin, the value of which did go down quite a bit.
Do we know why? Or maybe not necessarily in that exact situation, but I feel like that's a good segue about how the value of meme coins can fluctuate quite drastically in short periods of time.
Right. After having a conversation with compliance in my head, I'd like to note that the segue and what I'm about to say are only allegedly related. I'm not an expert. I don't know nothing about this, but one of the common mechanisms that occurred during a meme coin's rise and fall is called a rug pull.
Right.
And essentially, the average life cycle of the meme coin is that a meme coin is created by somebody or a group of people.
It's very easy to make a meme coin too.
Yeah.
We discovered.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah. If you go online and create one, you can create one within minutes for less than $2 US. I can't control you, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend you do this.
Right.
But
it did freak me out how easy it is, though.
Yeah. The cycle is essentially a group makes the coin, then they generate interest, usually through things like celebrity endorsements or by being celebrities themselves, usually like influencers on Twitch or Kick streamers, and they convince a bunch of people that, hey, I've got this new coin. We'll call it
baloney.
We'll call it baloney coin.
I'm on a roll today.
Yeah, you're really firing on all cylinders. So I'm a streamer. I have 1 million followers on Twitter. I go, hey, just discovered the hottest new investment. It's baloney coin. I got my friends on here. We're gonna take this to the moon. It's worth a penny now, but it'll be worth $1 soon. If you put in $100, you'll get 100 times $100.
A lot more money.
You put in $100 right now, you'll get $10,000. And so I get a bunch of people to believe me. And then when the value of baloney coin is approaching $100 or $1, I put in, a bunch of that I have a bunch of the coin.
Right.
You know, me and my group of investors, we all have the majority of it.
Right.
We sell it right when it's about to peak, and then the value tanks because I've taken all of the money you guys have put in,
Right.
and I put it in my pocket.
Right.
It's great, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how it works. It reminds me of the subreddit. What is it? Wall Street Bros or Wall Street Bets?
Wall Street Bets.
Like the whole GameStop debacle.
It's
right?
It's very similar to the GameStop
Yeah.
thing, except at least GameStop ostensibly is a company
Right.
that provided like services.
Right. But and then like again, it always reminds me of the concept of like the famous movie The Big Short, like this idea that you can inflate the value of a stock or another asset, right, by investing a bunch of money into it. And then, yeah, like you said, it's a rug pull, you know? Or I think like pumping is the term that the kids are using these days. Like, let's pump this.
Yeah.
The pump and dump. And then when you dump it, it's because you pull out all your money and the value of the meme coin
Has plummeted.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like this should be illegal because rug pulling or shorting stocks, right, is illegal, at least in the United States. In most other countries, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
It has to be regulated to prevent people from doing this, right? Because, you know, clearly it will crash entire economies if everyone is just trying to pump and dump stocks.
Yeah.
So this is, in my head, the way I see it is this is a good way for people to be able to do that in an unregulated, privatized space.
Yeah. Which, you know, does make the number go up.
It does make the number go up.
Yeah.
So this is the money I get because I invested in Doge. This is the money that Kingsley gets because he's a sucker. That's the chart.
And so I guess like you hit a good point on regulations there.
Yeah.
So at least in America, the Securities and Exchange Commission isn't really regulating these crypto scams as much as they should. As a matter of policy, this could allegedly, who knows, be related to some higher up government officials' dealings in meme coins.
Right.
I know that crypto is much more highly regulated in Japan. But how do you feel about using it to enrich yourself? Like,
So
would you be willing to start a crypto? Would you make Baloney Coin real?
I feel, I mean, there's definitely Baloney Coin. We can make maybe Baloney Coin 17 or something.
Okay.
I mean, the way that I look at it right now is that I see a lot of young people. I feel like this appeals to a younger demographic. I mean, obviously there are much older people getting in on it, and their brains are fully developed and they've lived a long life. And at that point, they know exactly what they're doing and they see it as an opportunity. It's literally a get-rich-quick scheme, you know, if done successfully. I think a lot of this right now, because it's a meme in and of itself, it's almost like the action of getting in on meme coins has become a meme. I think a lot of younger people or people that are getting involved in meme coins aren't really taking it seriously, even though it is a very serious thing. So even when they're putting their own money into it, it's turned into a game. It's become very gamified, and because we were looking on one of the more popular sites and just seeing the names of the coins, the images that are associated with them, and the way that people are talking in the comment sections, to me, what I see is a bunch of people who are dissociated and probably not really considering the actual ramifications of what they're doing. So in a bubble, if I know that there's an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid and he makes this meme coin and he convinces somehow, some way to get a bunch of people to invest in it, and then he pulls the rug and he gets 10K out of it. He gets a band out of it, as the kids say these days, for 10,000 US dollars. You know, I don't necessarily think that that kid is a bad person for doing that because in theory, everybody involved understands what they're doing. If they're of legal age, they're legally allowed to do it. And if you want to invest in a meme coin, you know, it's a risk that you're taking. It's like gambling. However, The one thing that we didn't touch on that I also want to bring up as well is the environmental concerns, right? That goes into running all of these blockchains, which are essentially massive servers that require an insane amount of electricity. So there's a huge environmental element of it, and then it's also just not a very pleasant thing to do. So I think that was a bit rambly, but I feel like my feelings are nuanced on it. Like, I would not do it. I don't think I couldn't sleep at night, to be honest, because you're scamming people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, after investigating it a bit for this podcast and seeing the community around it, it does make me feel very skeevy, and I wanted to get away from it as fast as I could. But I feel like the people that are involved in it know what they're doing, but in this weird dissociated way. So it's like, I almost feel like, let them, if they want to get involved in them, who am I to say no?
I mean,
does that make sense?
That does make sense. I think that I get where you're coming from. And I don't want to be like, oh, the person in your scenario who got the $10,000 is a bad person.
Right.
But their actions were very bad.
Exactly.
The result of their actions were bad.
Exactly.
And I think that if you are in this space and you are you're engaging in it, you're either, like you described, somebody who knows what's going on,
right,
or you're somebody who doesn't really understand it, because there is like a level of mystique involved in investing is very obfuscated in general. There's not a lot of education as to what goes on. So somebody could say, oh, crypto is just like the stock market. And I think if you take a very a view without a lot of nuance about it, you're like, oh, you put money in this thing and then you get more money. It's the exact same thing. It's just a chart where the number goes up
and then really down really
and then
fast.
really down really fast, which happens. And I mean, there is a pretty successful company on the S&P 500 that is currently, their business model is they take up debt to buy Bitcoin,
right,
and that's the whole company.
Right.
And so I don't think it's necessarily different from that, but at least traditionally, when you're investing in the stock market, it's under the auspice that you would be putting money into the company, and the company would provide a better product or service that made more money, and then you get returns on that.
Yeah.
This one, you get the returns from robbing another guy on the website that you go on.
Exactly. Yeah, I almost feel like, honestly, man, the human brain isn't like able to fully process everything that's happening, because if you look at these sites too, they're so overwhelming and overstimulating, and I really do feel like it preys on low impulse control. It's a very impulsive thing to do, and there's this whole kind of stank of irony over the whole thing that I think really clouds people's judgment, So again, like in this theoretical situation, if I found out that, let's say I have a kid and I'm an old man, my kid is getting involved in meme coin, and he ends up blowing all of his savings on this meme coin and he loses it. You know what I mean? It's like, it has to be a hard lesson learned, but this is why it needs to be regulated, essentially, because people will take advantage of it, right? If you give people an opportunity to be opportunistic, regardless of the implications on other people or the environment, they'll take it. And that's the very troubling thing about it.
Yeah, and an additional thing I wanted to touch on is that I think that in that scenario, it's more common that the dad of the kid is the one that gets tricked, and then his kid has to deal with the repercussions.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, literally can ruin people's lives. And I mean, anyone can ruin their lives by making a bad decision. But again, situations like this is why regulation is so important, because sometimes people need to step in and make sure that It's sorry. This is like another. Speaking of poor impulse control, but it also reminds me of sports betting.
Yeah,
At least in
it's
the
very
United
similar.
States, where it's becoming more and more popular. Back when I was much younger, it was not a thing
I
that
mean,
you
it was
could.
illegal.
Yeah, you couldn't do it in my home state, and we live in Japan, obviously. But when I go back to visit my home state, the most recent time last year, I remember watching TV with my best friend, and it was like every other ad was advertising sports gambling.
Right.
And growing up, that's not something that I would get involved in because in my head, I'm just not that kind of guy. Like I don't want to
Mm.
gamble 10 bands on the Knicks, but a lot of
Yeah.
people want to do that.
Yeah, because I mean, they're in a situation where they feel that they need to get rich quick.
Exactly.
And so if your version of seeing meme coins is like, oh, this guy on this YouTube video who has a Lamborghini, who has a mansion, is like, oh, I go and I invest in meme coins, and now I'm a multimillionaire, I'm a billionaire. And you think, oh, well, I also have access to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy just robs you.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and it's something that applies to any product, or I'm trying to think of the right word, because it also just reminds me of trading cards
Yeah.
or other collectibles
Yeah.
where they will, I'm a nerd, I play trading card games, so certain cards will rise in value because they're very good in the game or they're just highly sought after from collectibles.
I have a cool picture.
Right. And then people will invest in these trading card games as investments where they'll buy sealed product and hold on to it. And if a bunch of people hold it, right, then the value goes up. And there are entire online communities about investing in trading cards. It's a very similar thing, right? But I think the meme coin thing is even more troubling because it's all happening online. They're not physical things.
Yeah.
And it's all being approached like a big joke. But
Yeah.
it's real money at the end of the day that you have to spend on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a conclusion.
We should just keep that. I also don't really have a conclusion. Things are evolving so fast. I'm about to turn 31 this year, and I feel so old.
Yeah.
Unironically, because not only because my hips hurt, but only a few years ago, this is beyond truly my wildest imagination. And I think what we are able to do on the internet, what we are able to accomplish on the internet is insane. And so I guess, yeah, in general, my thoughts on the matter are that you got to be really careful when you're dealing with any sort of investment opportunity. I mean, it would really be the same thing. You invest in the S&P 500, right? Because it's what your accountant tells you to do.
Right.
And that's probably a safe bet. This is not financial advice, right?
Never.
But I don't know maybe we will, dude. Like maybe in even 5 to 10 years, my shoulder just cracked. I am so old. We will have accountants who will be able to advise you on a meme coin portfolio. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that will happen?
I'm not sure if that will happen, but I think that sentiments like that are why people are able to get away with that kind of thing, where you go, well, hey, this could be, in the next 5 years, this could be the big thing. You might have been on the ground floor. And I think that also comes a lot from the rise and fall of Bitcoin, where, I remember hearing about Bitcoin in 2010 and being like, that's stupid. And if I had put the money that I had put in my savings account into Bitcoin, I'd be a millionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have money that's liquid that you feel comfortable spending, but you theoretically would like to see it make gains on something, I would rather see people across society invest in things, and this is not a plug, I'm just being honest, like in education, or just starting your own business and funding your own business, just things like that. It just, to me, it feels like a waste. You know what I mean? It feels like it's such a waste.
Yeah.
And you could be spending your time and energy. I just see kids up all night on these sites pumping and dumping, man. And it's like, I just feel like, I'm sorry, but that's what the kids say. I just feel like that energy the money, the time, and the energy could be spent on more productive things.
Yeah,
You know?
of course.
So that's the long and short of it at the end of the day. This topic, I don't know if I've said it enough, but it does make me feel very old.
Yeah.
You know?
And, you know, just like your age, the number must always go up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient enough to sit through whatever that was. I haven't seen it in post, but I'm sure it's great.
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, we're doing good. And if you think we're doing good, let us know in a review. And if you think you're doing bad, let us know in the comments. Because engagement is great.
Yeah, definitely let us know exactly what you think in the comments.
Yeah. Give me a piece of your mind. And until next time, remember, the number goes up. Bye.
Bye.